Hi everybody, this is a quick video overview of the ProBuilder version 2.6 update. We'll be taking a look at the new features and tools that we've added here. If you'd like to see the full list with the bug fixes, improvements, etc., definitely take a look at the changelog as well. So starting off, I'll just create a new cube to start with here in this little demo scene. And the first tool that I think a lot of people are excited for is the new Bevel tool. So I can select any number of edges on an object and click on the bevel icon. It's going to bevel the edges. So a real quick way to add more detail, soften out hard edges, etc. If you hold Alt and click on it, this does have options, or option singular, has a distance modifier to change just how large the bevel is. So I'll close out of that. We'll keep using this cube for the next one actually. The other feature is fill holes. So if I delete these faces and I have a hole in the mesh here I need to fill in, I can select any single edge, and if I make sure, we'll take a look at the options for this, hold Alt and click on the options, make sure fill entire hole is turned on, and just click on fill, and it's going to instantly do that. No need for, in the past you'd have to do a couple different bridge actions or something. If I turn off the fill entire hole, I'll delete this, and then let's just grab a few of these edges, maybe just these. Click on fill. It's only going to fill in what you have selected. So useful if you have something where you just need partial fill but not the entire. There is also a menu action to select any holes in the mesh. So if you go to Tools, ProBuilder, Selection, and then select hole, it'll select either holes connected to the geometry you have selected, or the elements I mean, or if no elements are selected, throughout the entire mesh. This can be a really good way to check if your mesh has any holes or leaks in it, if you need to weld some verts, etc. And definitely we will be adding in a proper button on the toolbar for that very soon. Sorry, a bit of a mistake on my part that that's not there for this video. Another edge-related addition is the settings for manifold extrusion are now available. If you hold Alt and click on the extrude edge icon, we have the setting right here instead of in the preferences panel. It makes a lot more sense, quick to get at here. So with this off, now if I hold Shift and pull on an edge that isn't open on at least on one side, it's just not going to extrude that edge. Wouldn't really make sense to normally. If you turn this on, however, now I can extrude from that, create some pretty interesting geometry. Not always what you're going to want, and that's why it's not on by default. But we're giving you the option right here in the edge extrude settings now, so it's a little easier to get to if you are using that. We've also changed up the mirror tool so that now it will instantly mirror and duplicate when you click on it instead of always opening up the panel. And simply hold Alt and click on it to set the options that you normally would via the panel before. It now has a duplicate option also, so you can turn that on or off in case you only want to mirror and not actually duplicate the object. A small change in keyboard shortcuts, the subdivide tool is now always Alt-S. So with the face selected, I can hold Alt, hit the S key on the keyboard, and that will subdivide the face. Or I can select an edge and hit Alt-S, and that's going to subdivide just that edge. Sorry, I'll zoom in on that to make it a little more obvious. So now we have a new vert in the center of that edge. In the preferences, we've also added another item. So under Edit, Preferences, and ProBuilder, if you scroll down a bit, you will find the precise element selection. So this is the normal default that you're used to, and that means you have to click generally right on an item to select it, so it's a bit more precise. If you turn that off, now you can click and it's just going to grab whatever is closest to the mouse. So this allows you to be a bit more sloppy and carefree with your selection. Turn that on or off depending on whatever is easier for you to use. We've also created new icons for the set pivot to center, just to clarify that a bit. So now if I have an element selected, maybe just grab a vertex here, click on the new set pivot to center in the element toolbar area here, and that's going to set the pivot there. Oops. So now there's a pivot of the object right there at that selection. Of course you could have multiple, and it's just going to set the pivot to the center of whatever you have selected there in the elements. And then we have a separate button for centering the pivot to the object itself. So if you click on this, it's simply going to center the pivot right to the center of the object. We've also added this set pivot to center of object to ProBuilder Basic. It's no longer just a advanced tool, since it's genuinely useful for so many cases. We figured it'd be good to add to ProBuilder Basic as well. Lastly, for features and functionality updates here, we've added a new and experimental so far option to store mesh objects as assets in the project instead of storing them in the scene. So this is a bit more complex. There's a lot going on with it, and we're going to hold off on explaining that more until a dedicated video to that and a bit of a written tutorial as well. We want to make sure that gets across well and work with people to see how they like it and if we should make it a more mainstream thing perhaps. Actually, one last item, we also have a beautifully rewritten, or at least painstakingly rewritten and hopefully beautiful documentation for everyone. This is completely new, has examples for everything, has nice links you can clicky around in. Oops, not that one. We're still working on it, so one thing that we'd love to have you do is take a look into that and let us know if you find any errors like that. Make sure I note that down. So anyway, completely new documentation. Definitely look through it. It's not a pain like the old may have been to dig through. And we'll be adding new videos for each and every single section and item so that everything will be much, much simpler to learn, even more than it already is. So go ahead and take a look at that. We'd love to hear what you think, and if you happen to dig through and find any missing items, please do let us know. So thanks very much, and we'll see you in the future videos.